Elf. When was the last time you watched Elf?
Coming to town! Oh my! Santa here? I know him! I know him!
You might think that you remember this movie. You're wrong. This movie was never about Christmas. This movie was never about being an elf. It's about something much different. It's about something much more real. Elf is one of those movies that when you see it at Kmart or Target on a shirt, it's easy to see Elf as a standard, unproblematic, happy Christmas movie like The Polar Express or Die Hard. It's easy to forget that this movie has layers to it, some truly, truly dark themes. It's rated G. This movie feels like it should be a classic, but is it even a good movie? Is Elf a classic because it's a good movie, or is it a classic because your auntie loves her elf pajamas? We're going to dissect Elf not as a comedy, but as a piece of art. When making an artwork, there are no mistakes, just happy accidents. Every individual brushstroke matters, and one wrong color can ruin the piece. There is no overlooking in this video. I am here to critique the smallest pieces of this artwork. I am Elf. Before we break down the plot, this video will not really break down the plot. I have some talking points about this film, and I have been watching it so much this past week that I just kind of want to get it out there. If we remove the elf part of Elf, what is the movie about? It's a fish out of water film. Look what happens when we place someone in an environment where they're so different to the people around them and watch how they act so different to the people around them. This is the same kind of premise that Thor used.
How do I get to Greenwich?
Take this train, 3 stops.
Look, he's different. Isn't that funny? There's nothing wrong with that. The movie is about a 30-year-old man who's having an identity crisis because he thought he was an elf, but he's not. He's human. At the very start of the film, he leaves the North Pole and goes to New York to try and find his dad and maybe fit in with the other humans, since he doesn't really fit in with the elves anymore. But when he gets to New York, all the people around him just think he's different and that he's special. The film constantly reminds us that he's special.
Special. You're just special.
And so, Buddy was sent where the special elves work.
As a kid, I thought this movie did a really good job of painting this 6'3", 200-pound man as an elf, but I realized they just painted him as special. To explain my point, we need to talk about culture. Buddy, our main character, is a human who was raised in elf culture. The film wants us to believe the reason he doesn't fit with the humans is because he was raised in elf culture, and the reason he doesn't fit in with the elves is because he is a human. He can't help being a human, and he can't change that he was raised by elves. So it puts him in this uncomfortable middle ground where he is too human for the elves and too elf for the humans. But they don't really deserve this premise. They never show us what it means to be an elf. The comedy in this film doesn't rely on the fact that he is an elf. Almost ever, actually. You don't laugh because he doesn't act the way that an elf would act. You laugh because he doesn't understand social cues.
Santa's coming to town!
He likes yelling and being loud. That's a lot of the comedy. We never see another elf yell. He likes yelling and being loud. He finds it freeing. He's not worried about how others perceive him. He finds comfort in being loud. He only likes set foods. Candy, candy canes, candy corns, and syrup, which means he might have a sensory preference to foods high in sugar, or maybe he just prefers certain textures. He feels this compulsive need to touch everything in the store. He's just seeking the textures that he likes. He also struggles with social cues in terms of understanding what phrases mean. For example, if he was told to take a hike, they would probably do a cutaway to him taking a hike. He doesn't understand how this may be violating someone's personal space. He is constantly intruding on his father's place of work, or even obviously sitting in a girl's locker room while she's showering and she has no idea that he's there. He also struggles reading body language. He doesn't understand when people are being serious with him or unserious with him. He struggles to mask his emotions throughout the film, consistently crying when small things go wrong and is so happy when things go right.
Santa's coming to town!
He portrays exactly how he feels, not what is convenient to the setting. He hyperfixates on Christmas decorations for long periods of time on 40 minutes of sleep, and he has vocal stems.
Francisco, that's fun to say. Francisco.
Francisco.
Francisco. Francisco. Francisco.
Buddy. Sorry.
Will Ferrell doesn't play an elf in this movie. He plays a man with autism. It's incredibly clear when you know the signs of autism. There's nothing wrong with that necessarily, but the film doesn't know how to acknowledge it. Whilst they do acknowledge it by calling him special and sending him to work where the special elves work,
The special elves work.
they also really do rely on the idea that he is an elf and that everything he does is because he's an elf. We're supposed to believe that he acts the way he does because of his elf culture. Only because of his elf culture would he do these things. But for that to be the case, these things would have to be things that elves do, something which is common for the elves, as if any of the elves would act this way, and that's not how it works. We only really see the elves for the first 15 minutes of the film, and they're very tame. The elves never invade each other's personal space or act obnoxiously. They are hardworking. They seem quiet and incredibly productive, unlike Buddy. They drink coffee at work. They gossip about their lousy co-workers.
I hate to do this to you, but you think you can help me pick up the slack on those etch-a-sketches?
No problem.
I appreciate it. Buddy is killing me. I already got Lum Lum and Choo Choo pulling doubles.
Quick thinking yesterday with that special talents thing.
They have a level of emotional depth, feeling sympathetic towards Buddy, but also disappointed in him. Buddy never shows this level of emotional understanding throughout the entire film.
I feel bad for the guy. I just hope he doesn't get wise.
Well, if he hasn't figured out he's a human by now, I don't think he ever will.
He constantly lacks critical thinking on how his decisions might make other people feel.
Santa? Who the heck are you?
What are you talking about? I'm Santa Claus.
No, you're not.
Why, of course I am.
Don't tell him what you want. He's a liar.
Let the kid talk.
You disgust me. How can you live with yourself?
Just cool it, Zippy.
You sit on a throne of lies.
Look, I'm not kidding.
You're a fake.
I'm a fake?
Yes.
How'd you like to be dead?
If we look at the elves from the first 15 minutes of the film as a form of reference of what an elf is, they act much more human than Buddy. They work hard. They have emotional intelligence. And again, they understand boundaries. They even understand social cues.
I'm a cotton-headed ninny-muggins.
The film needs you to think that Buddy is halfway between an elf and a human. He's too human for the elves, and he's too elf for the humans. But that's not why he stands out. Buddy isn't an average elf. He's different from the rest. He's special. So the issue isn't simply that elf culture is different to human culture and that no elf could comply with human culture. Otherwise, the things he does would have been seen normal where he comes from. They would all act like Buddy. If you were to use color theory to explain this, if the elves were blue and the humans were red, he actually wouldn't be purple. He'd be more like yellow, because the elves and humans are actually quite close to each other. They act very similarly, whereas Buddy does things that the average human nor the average elf does. He's a complete outlier. We're starting to get a little bit off track here. I don't need color theory or graphs to show how elf or human he is. The movie wants you to think that he is too human for the elves and too elf for the humans, and the reason that he doesn't fit in with either is because of him being too close to the other thing. But that's not the issue here. He was outcast by the elves and sent to work where the special elves work, and is outcast by the humans and is treated like a special human. One constant remains: everyone treats him like he's special. This video feels weirdly insulting to people with autism, and that is 100% not my goal with this. I know a lot of people with autism, and I recognize these signs, and I recognize how stereotypes can be offensive. When I went on that long list of traits that Buddy has, yes, some of them are written to be elves, as in elf mannerisms, things like the candy corn diet and all that stuff, but I can't help but draw similarities to people with autism who do have quite specific diets that can be quite out there. A lot of the other traits, again, things like not knowing social cues, not being able to mask your emotions, being loud the moment you feel that you need to be loud, these are all traits of people with autism, and they do not relate back to being an elf at all. If we think about the elves that Buddy works with, if any of them were to go to New York City, this movie would be a lot different. They would be more quiet, more reserved, more like the background characters in New York City. Because again, it's not about how elf of a person Buddy is. It's about the fact that Buddy is special. Anyway, just to round this video out, again, I just want to reaffirm 100% I'm not trying to insult anyone that is even slightly neurodivergent. I wanted to make a Christmas video this week because it is the Christmas season, and I was thinking about the treatment of Elf. Growing up, I never really liked the film, but it always genuinely confused me. Now, I'm refilming this outro, but I did film quite a long version of this video, which keeps up that painting theme that we talked about before. Talking about all the little pieces that make this movie into what is, in my opinion, bit of a bad movie. If you guys are interested in seeing a much longer video, I don't know, comment or interact with the post. Anyway, just one last time, not trying to insult anyone here. Elf is a very average movie, but I do love the Christmas tree scene. I quote this all the time. Alright guys, well thank you very much for watching. In the top left is my 9 lives video. In the bottom left is a video about a guy called Nasubi. He was locked in a room for 15 months and forced to live a life of just prizes. And then on the right side, there'll be one big video, and that is whatever YouTube recommends most to you. I really appreciate you guys getting this far in the video. And again, if you guys could like, comment, subscribe, anything to interact, it would just mean so much. Or just put the video on loop. Anyway, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one.